I am ready for fall, and with falling temperatures, nothing better than a perfect roast. I have attempted at making roasts many times, many different ways, and none have turned out perfect. But we're going to attempt it this time and see if it works. I've already cut up my carrots and potatoes, and I've salted the roast and brought it to temperature. One of the problems that I think that I've had before when attempting to make the perfect roast is that I didn't pan sear. I didn't realize how important that was to making a nice, moist, tender roast. Now, I am going to be cooking it very low and slow in the oven. I have the oven preheated to 255, and I'm going to cook it in my Dutch oven. But beforehand, we are going to pan sear the roast in my stainless steel pan. For stainless steel pan cooking, this is something brand new that I've just learned because we just got our stainless steel actually, is that you need to preheat your pan. So I have my pan preheating. I have it at about between a 4 and a 5 on my stove, so about medium heat. And I'm just going to wait for that to come a little bit to temp. Now, in pan searing, my roast doesn't have a lot of fat on it at all. You could use an olive oil or a avocado oil or some type of oil like that. Avocado, I know, has a little higher temp, and they're both oil that's a little bit better for you than, say, a canola or a vegetable oil. We are not using that in my family right now because my husband is on an elimination diet. So I'm also going to be cooking the vegetables for the roast separately, and we'll see how that turns out. For the pan searing, I'm actually going to be using ghee. So that's just a clarified butter. And we're almost up to temp, not quite. There we go. We're going to melt that ghee down first. So I've been making plans to start my YouTube channel for a little while now. And what it's going to be is I'm pretty much just documenting my attempts and learning to become a homesteader. Well, I am still living in an apartment. Actually, my husband and I just recently sold our house in Florida and moved into the mountains. So we are currently in an apartment, but one day we have plans to get some land and start homesteading. My husband has a lot of experience homesteading already. He lived in Alaska for a long time with his first wife. Pardon me, getting used to doing the videos. With his first wife. And he already knows how to do a lot of this stuff. But I want to learn for myself. So I forgot to do the water trick in the pan to see if it was ready to show you guys. Next time I'll do that. I'm going to let it heat up just a little bit more before I drop the roast into the pan. We want it kind of like, there we go. Yeah, that's perfect. Like a little shimmer to it. You bring that over here. Oh, you got that perfect sizzling on it there. We're going to let that sit for a few minutes. So, as I was saying, this channel is going to be about me learning how to homestead. So, I'll share with you my wins and my losses when it comes to the things that I've already learned to do and things that I'm still learning how to do. One thing that I've always done is garden. So I'll be sharing a lot of gardening with you. Here in my apartment, I do a lot of container gardening. I have a few plants over there that we'll take a look at in a future video. but I want to learn all different types of things that is needed to be a homesteader, especially if we plan on going to Alaska. So my husband is very seasoned in Alaska. I've never been. I did grow up in the country in upstate New York, um, southern tier area, mostly. I spent a lot of time in central New York as well. But growing up in the country as a teenager, I was a little more interested in other things than learning how to garden and sew and all of those fun things. So, in addition to learning how to do cooking and gardening and things like that, as I run out of things like soaps and dishwashing detergents and laundry detergents, I'm going to be making my own and see what works when it comes to trying different things for different ways to clean my house and my body and keep us safe and sustainable. I'll talk about some of the things that I've already replaced in my life in another video. But yeah, so this is still pan searing, and that's going to take a little while. Show that for a minute. It smells so great. Now, the only thing I've put on my roast so far is salt. Like I said, my husband is on an elimination diet, so there are things that we're not adding. I would normally probably put a little bit of pepper. I am going to be roasting it with some fresh rosemary and probably some thyme because that is something that he's okay with eating right now. And with a stainless pan, you kind of want to just wait until it loosens up on its own. So we're not quite there yet. All right, beautiful. I have all sides of this wonderful roast pan seared. I also melted a little butter down at the bottom of my Dutch oven. Just so that we're not sticking to the bottom of it. Lay that beauty down in there. Normally I'd be putting some onions, carrots, and potatoes in there with my roast a little bit later in the cooking process. I found that when I'm roasting my chickens, if I put them in right away, they just kind of turn to mush. So we're going to live that. As I said, I have the oven on 255, so we are slow roasting this. It's going to take a few hours. I actually got started a little late in the day. I'm going to set my timer for 90 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on it. I forgot to cut my rosemary and my thyme, so head on out to my patio with me to do that. Now, I'll give you a sneak peek real quick of some of my plants. It's going to be time to prune and get things ready to bring some of the herbs inside. Hopefully I can keep them alive inside. I've never really attempted that. But we can grab some rosemary. This bush is getting small. There, I think that'll be enough for this roast. I have another rosemary bush over there. Not quite as large as this one was. This one served me really well all season. So, and we will grab some thyme. I have just a little bit of thyme up. See if this will stay. I have just a little bit of thyme up here. So we'll grab a little bit of that and go add it to the roast. I'll cut it up just a little bit more just to spread the love while we're in the roast. Save some aside too for the carrots and the potatoes when I cook them up separate. I'm actually in a little while going to throw some carrots in there because my husband does eat carrots, so I'll throw some of those in with the roast in a couple of hours. I don't want them to be too overcooked into mush, so we will throw that in later. Here, this is, we're not too long into the cooking, about 20 minutes, if that even. I'm just going to sprinkle this in there. The smell is already phenomenal. Perfect. About an hour and a half in, I'm gonna add the carrots. It's looking really good. Smells really good too. I lowered the temp to about 200 because it was coming to temp a little faster than I wanted it to. Coming along beautifully. Let's see how, oh, that looks perfect. Perfect. What a beautiful roast. Oh, tender. Very nice.
I've seen some people talk about how Tampa Bay is receding with the offshore winds and all that, and I want to, and it's not going to
And
have like a storm surge.
now to test. I just cut the end. I didn't cut into the middle.
Amount of surge for the Tampa Bay area because all parts of the hurricane as it passes through in a different direction as it gets further inland.
Very good.
Areas along the coast. So I want to make sure everybody knows that just in case.
So, was that the perfect roast? No. Was it great? It was. Yeah, it was delicious. A couple things that I would do different next time is lower the temp probably to 200 and cooking it at 255. 90 minutes was adequate. It was done after 90 minutes, and I thought I was going to have it in there for a few hours. So I had lowered the temperature just to keep it warm all the way down to the lowest setting on my oven because the mister wasn't going to be home for a few hours. So next time I'm going to lower the temp to 200. Assume that would take about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours to cook, depending on the size of the roast, obviously. And adding in my vegetables about halfway through. That way they would be cooked perfect. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video even a little, consider subscribing. They'll only get better from here.